Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is November 10th, 2022. Happy Thursday to everybody. And as the title suggests, we have something very specific in focus this morning. It should be released as soon as this session concludes. So I'll probably end a couple of minutes early just so people can kind of prepare for that actual data drop. But as the title suggests, we are looking at the CPI report. So before we step into that, just kind of looking at some of the relative performance across different sectors, starting off with kind of a 1 month performance. It's been a while since we took a higher level overview of what's been bullish over the past couple of weeks. We've seen steeper declines in certain stocks and sectors, but there have been some outperforming areas of the market. And it's important to note that amidst a general decline, usually you're going to have some standouts. And so long as the market isn't fully correlated, those standouts tend to be not only bucking the trend, but sometimes even printing new all-time highs whenever the core S&P, the core NASDAQ, or just other indices are still struggling to recover from a correction. So some of those sectors are obviously in focus here. We've seen plenty of renewed industrial strength, and there's been a couple of names in that sector that have been outperforming even in that particular sector's performance. So lots of Dow focused stocks. You'll notice the Diamond ETF or the Dow Industrial Average DIA has been up about 11% since last month. And you'll also notice just a general divergence here. As we see declines in the market, usually the Dow is in an elevated position. So it's holding on to some of its gains a little bit better than some of the more struggling indices like the IWM and the NASDAQ. The SPY, of course, kind of a blend of some of those exposures and therefore somewhere right in the middle. So the question then becomes, as traders, we should be likely looking for these divergences and looking for trade opportunity in those particular sectors, because especially as a long bias trader, timing bounces in the market has been challenging. They're often short-lived. So if you're looking at just the S&P, you know you're only going to get a couple of opportunities, maybe once or twice a month for some long, usually kind of short-lived trends. And then, of course, when we hit key resistances, we often look back the other way. We plan for the next sell swing, and we ask the market to prove us wrong, basically to negate the current downtrend that we are currently in. Additionally, energy has been outperforming, but I want to caution some of the overextension in energy. We want to be extremely careful assuming that that's just going to continue at these levels. Notably, we had some volatility in stocks like Oxy yesterday that tended to kind of reverberate throughout the energy sector. And if you'll notice yesterday, amidst a fairly bearish session, energy was actually leading to the downside. So there are periods of performance. There are obviously some areas to target, and we'll look at that really quickly. But focusing on relative strength, just kind of focusing on what's been gaining, and obviously avoiding buying in too late. Things do tend to cycle in this market pretty, I would say, characteristic of the sector. There's been some pretty standard highs and lows. Retracement levels have been very similar, along with positioning for some potential late stage bear market cycle performance and possible recessionary sector performance For me, that's going to be heavily focused on healthcare and possibly looking at some defensive plays once again, albeit those are not necessarily standouts. They're more just the kind of middle of the road sector performers in, let's say, a weaker economy. So this has been what's kind of been driving some of the trade as of late. If I just go to a week performance as well, you'll note things are pretty much flat across a lot of our indices. We have returned back to some of our previous week's levels on yesterday's session. And once again, there are some standouts here. Industrial still kind of takes number 2, and materials has been actually gaining past week. So there's definitely some shifts going on. We don't want to ignore those as they're happening, but we also want to be a little early to grab them. And as I mentioned, there are these kind of impulsive moves that can often define potentially new trends in a market. Healthcare, I believe, is starting to show some of those characteristics, and we're finally getting some alignment with the sector relative to some of the stronger stocks like UNH and Johnson & Johnson. You compare that to the industrial strength, which has been very impressive. I would say the bounce here is significant. But once again, be cautious where you're entering. I would argue that this is a relatively technically poor area to go long, even if it is to continue advancing, just because we're starting to see some overreach. Like a LMT has kind of busted through its all-time highs, but it hasn't really formed great trending structure yet. So it's impulsive. You definitely want to focus in on the next pullback. I'm looking at a pullback that hasn't quite shown itself yet. Additionally, you can look at some of the big runners here, like Caterpillar, after its earnings, kind of reclaiming a lot of lost ground, and obviously coming into some resisting areas, but not necessarily showing weakness quite yet, along with Triple M. So there's been a couple of names that have either come off lows strongly, have had really significant bullish runs to their close to all-time highs, or they're just performing much better than the rest of the marketplace. So this is where you can look for edge, especially if you're looking for strong stocks getting stronger. One thing I would recommend, if you're familiar with how to scan or have a way to look for stocks during sessions that are significant, oftentimes you can run these scans, and I think this is like a new yearly high, scanning in the S&P 100. Anytime these stocks show up on the scans, it's indicating that even in a bearish session, there are some stocks trying to make new all-time highs, and they might either be trending, they might have characteristic pullbacks that are getting bought. You can kind of look into what sectors these happen to be. Healthcare kind of stands out here on this relatively short scan. Or you can go a little bit wider and maybe see, okay, well, if I look across the S&P 500, what sort of stocks have been making new all-time highs? What sectors are they located in? And is there something specific about the industry? It's not just about healthcare. It's about, is it pharmaceuticals? Is it hospital? Is it some sort of technology-driven aspect of healthcare? Is it more the actual building construction, facilities, and looking into exactly what's been in focus? Hopefully that can help lead you to stocks that are going to be next in line for rallies. Additionally, you can do the opposite, and that's where, switching this to like a lowest, I don't know if I can edit it here very quickly, but if you're looking for stocks making new relative lows, that's where, if you're bearish, you do want to be looking for the weaker stocks, and the ones that are declining tend to decline faster, harder, and hit those targets a little bit quicker. So as we kind of look for edge in the market, I think this is something that can help a lot of traders just kind of refine their list, along with remove some of the minutia of day trading candidates versus swing trade candidates, and not necessarily fighting these trends that a lot of our technology, discretionary, and some of our mega market caps are experiencing, the core downtrends that they happen to be in. Okay, so shifting into CPI, let's take a look at what we have on deck here. So as I go to economic calendar on trading terminal, so I've got calendar, economic tab. You'll notice a couple of data drops here: core inflation rate year over year and month over month, and then something like CPI month over month for October. And there should be another one. I think it's this one right here. It's actually not labeled CPI in the same way. Oh no, here it is. It's these two right here. So they're a little separated, but if you're looking at these two rows, these are going to be your core inflation rates. And what this represents is baskets of goods and services. These two do not include food and energy. So it's often called CPI X food and energy, or sometimes just core inflation rate kind of spelled out as we have on Trading Terminal. What you'll notice here, the data that we're presenting is both our previous readings. Market experienced about a 6.6% increase year over year from the previous CPI, and that would have been comparing September 2021 to last September. Currently, we're looking at October, so the market is pricing or estimating about 6.5% year over year from October 21st. Additionally, month over month, so here we're just looking at September to October relative to our previous reading, which would have been August to September. So just comparing those differentials and looking to see, are we increasing and decreasing relative to previous months, and what baskets, what areas of the market are most impacted, either positively or negatively. This is, of course, making an aggregate reading, but the actual report will showcase the breakdown. The number that tends to be a little bit more in focus, excuse me, I'm having a little trouble with my voice here, has been with food and energy. So our inflation rate, CPI, a lot of people just kind of note. So once again, year over year, we're looking at 8.2, previous reading for October 2021 to now, the market is estimating a flat 8%. So the idea tends to be that if this comes in a little bit higher, market might experience another sell swing. If we're in line or slightly lower, while this doesn't necessarily define new trends, it would be indicating a couple of readings where things have been relatively intact to estimates. They've been in line with estimates. So if we do see anything like an 8% print or anything with a 7 in front of it, that would obviously be under estimates. That might be an initial bullish reaction. Be careful to assume that just because it's hot or cold, you should go long or short. That's more or less just been the characteristic of the market. And remember, last CPI was bearish on the reaction, but it actually marked our S&P 2022 lows. So we are looking at a previous CPI session where things started bad, at least in the bearish camp. And then, of course, we rallied out for the rest of the day, and it basically marked our lows for now. So, don't allow this to necessarily decide your bias, even with the reaction, but understand that the reaction itself tends to kind of follow over under performance. If it's over, you want to be thinking bearish, let the price action kind of dictate that. If it's under or in line, I would expect an initial bullish reaction, and then things might fall into bearish camp later in the session, as we've seen lots of relative weakness past couple of days. How significant is the potential volatility? For this, I would want to look at the SPX. I would come into the current series. So November 10th is our Thursday option series. And as far as the SPX is concerned, it's pricing about a $75 expected move today. Doesn't have to all occur with the CPI reaction, but understand that today's session can be at least 75 points wide. Now, a lot of us aren't necessarily trading off the SPX, and what I would recommend you kind of estimate here is just kind of mapping that to the SPY. We closed yesterday at about 37.50. So plus or minus 75, you're looking at about a 38.25. So that would be like SPY 382.5 approximately. And downside, we'd be looking at about a 367.5 SPY, of course. So anywhere in that range, and obviously the SPX is its own instrument, but it is one of the more accurate ones because we do have a Thursday series. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do that type of estimation in the actual SPY series because it's only Friday. However, Friday is pricing about $8.3 of total volatility for the rest of the week. Anyone who's hedging CPI reaction is likely using this series and maybe a future series as well. Therefore, this volatility reading should encapsulate the CPI move along with anything else that's occurring for the rest of the week. What that means is this volatility right here is likely to go down today once the information is known and the market is responding to it. But this plus or minus number is for Friday. So it's a little hard to say, plus or minus, I guess it would be about 7.5 based on the SPX because the Friday series has a little bit more volatility. There's a little bit more time. And obviously, this will change as we get into the session. I would much prefer to use the SPX as kind of the summary there. Same thing with the NASDAQ. Remember, whatever instrument you're trading, it's just about the series and when it expires. This volatility is elevated comparative to kind of our normal, which has been usually mid-30s for most of this year, and an expected move for the rest of the week of about 7.5. So whether you're trading NASDAQ, whether you're trading SPY, these big numbers really just indicate that the CPI reaction could be equivalent to about a $5 to $7 move immediately. It could be very fast. That volatility will be expressed more concretely throughout the trading session. And then for the rest of the week, I would argue that our SPX expected move is a likely target for the rest of the week. Remember, I talked about how this session here was a great session to start planning for maybe a bearish move, especially technically the rejection levels that we have. Some of the follow through we're getting yesterday is kind of proving that setup. As long as CPI doesn't turn the ship, I do believe we have some beginnings of our downtrend starting to show themselves. And if you're looking for maybe a play into Friday, the weekly volatility that we map out every Monday does indicate 365. So Once again, for the S&P, that would be like a 365 SPY, 365.4 for the SPX. So all that said, I don't necessarily have a ton more edge to provide for us today. The reaction itself is going to be what's in focus, the eventual trend that likely forms from that reaction, whether it's counter or with the reaction, that remains to be seen. A lot of people have kind of put up some more binary type trades just in case something like this does happen. It was a very strong session, but I think even if we do go bullish, there's going to be some opportunity to play it back into these trend lines. Once again, this is a speculative trend line. We haven't technically formed a trend. Or just to play it as a reversion trade and even try and slam back into 390s. I would not be against that trade. It just needs to show itself. And I don't think we have that information right in front of us. Instead, I'd much rather focus on what's been characteristically driving some of the downside, which is weakness in stocks like Tesla. They would need to come off of those lows very quickly and drive back to the upside. I'm noticing this morning we've just hit fresh lows in Tesla at 172, along with our Apples and Microsofts kind of circling the drain a little bit because they are looking at a cliff of downside. You kind of add that to crypto volatility, which has been felt across a lot of portfolios, and we've seen plenty of liquidation events starting to really hit the tape. And you look at something like risk on, risk off behavior, add that with skew, the sort of bearish lean in the market, the beginnings of decline in our risk off type assets, and this is the high yield corporate debt kind of view. Everything looks declining. If it wants to change, it just needs to change the look. And at this point, until that happens, there's little to no confidence that that's going to occur. So we will see what today brings. We'll see what the actual numbers are. But for now, just remember the core trends. Remember what's been working more consistently. And often remember what's been leaving people wanting. The idea that as bulls maybe enter into bounces, not only are they inclined to sell into strength, but they're also not necessarily returning to price levels that have trapped previous bulls. Essentially, we've only got a small group of participants bullish that are on the right side of the market. And for that, synopsis here, we're looking at not only more steep declines in the future, but a turnaround play has to really show itself more concretely. It's hard to figure that out when you're at absolute lows like we were last time. So with all that said, I think this is a good stopping point, about for 5 to 6 minutes to get prepared for the day. I know Thursdays are normally a Q&A day, but it is a little bit of a special day. So we'll kind of just leave that for next week. Remember, however, some of the ideas about scanning, looking for relative strength and relative weakness is about finding those assets that when the market gives you entry point opportunities, you're expecting those trends to continue. And it can be bullish or bearish. Relative strength is rare in a declining market. Relative weakness tends to be a little bit more prevalent. So if you're finding edge shorting stocks that are weak, getting weaker, that obviously has been a key characteristic of our larger market cap names. Or you're finding edge in buying assets that are gaining, looking for relative strength, having those actually counter the market. And usually if the market goes bullish, those assets will not only outperform, they might even break out. And that's really where the power can come from on a lot of those technical setups. So with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Market. Stay tuned for CPI. It's in about 5 minutes. Trade safe today. Have a great rest of your week. We'll talk more next week.
Good morning, Carlos. I cannot hear you.
Oh, mic check.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. All right, guys. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
No, I'm all right. I'm concerned I might be getting sick, but we'll see.
Ah, man, sorry to hear about that.
That's all right.
Hopefully, it's nothing too bad. All right, guys. As we get going here, of course, let's give Jab a big thumbs up for engineering the markets every Monday through Thursday. So let's slam those thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it very much. Helps the channel out a whole bunch. Norm, we got some interesting data coming out in just a couple of minutes here.
Yep, we got about a minute and a half until we get CPI. So inflation data, we'll see. The market's going to react big time to this. We do have some tickers on here that are, moving on actual news, but I have a feeling our list is going to change big time one way or the other in just a moment. So I've already loaded all of these that I'm interested in because the ones that pop up here afterward are going to be likely driven mostly by that. So if it comes in hotter than expected, market's going to go crazy.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We'll have that in a couple of seconds here.
About 30 seconds. So everybody think 7.9 year over year is what they say is the expectation. So we'll see what it comes in compared to that. If we get a sub 8 number, it'll be helpful. It's still really high inflation, but it'll be really interesting to see what we do.
Yeah,
10
absolutely.
seconds. We also get jobless claims and continuing claims. And then we've got a bunch of Fed speakers sprinkled in throughout the day. So here we go. Let's see. Market popping up. I haven't heard the number yet.
Got an aggressive move up right now.
It's weaker than expected. It's 0.4 versus 0.6 month over month. That's good.
Look at the SPY just taking off here, guys.
Yep. Let's see here. Yeah. I haven't heard the core number yet. So, all right. Well, we got that. If I hear anything else, I'll let you know. I did see it was 225,000 jobless claims, which is a little bit more than the 220 expectation. So might as well get going. You can go through yesterday's plays.
Yeah.
And we'll see how this reaction turns out.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at that, guys. Yesterday, we had an amazing list, starting with our friend here, Meta, which popping up this morning with all the news. And again, like Norm mentioned, our list is going to change drastically. So let's go over a few things before we start looking at that.
Core was also 0.2 weaker at 0.3 versus 0.5 expected. So finally got that.
Okay, excellent. Here was Meta yesterday, guys. Not the best trader compared to everything else I'm going to show you, like a Tesla coming up next. But you had some opportunities here if you were patient, and you had to have a good entry because some of these pullbacks were very aggressive towards the bottom. You see that here. It did have an uptrend, slight uptrend all the way to noon, and then a beautiful sell-off. The sell-off was much cleaner than the actual run here that it had. Then we start going to Tesla, and again, the news of Elon selling more of his shares. When that came out, that obviously is not great news. Tesla, guys, all the way down to 175 yesterday from 190. So again, just not good for them this morning. They're getting a little bit of a pop, but for the most part, this thing is going to be in play for a while. Jared was talking about this as well early this morning about the drops you saw in Tesla that did not look fundamentally well. And you can see not a fun time for Tesla. Roblox, also a great short as well. You had a great opportunity here to take this for the short off the break of the VWAP. Again, to try to stay above that, could not. Look at the test here, trying to hold on to it, couldn't. Big drop, and then from there, it just sells off the entire day, hitting all the levels we had, guys. Look how great this levels played out. We had 33.54, great area there, support and resistance. Then breaks down to 32.51, 31, excuse me, right over here, and then almost makes it to our 30.48. So again, these levels played very nice yesterday when it came to Roblox there. Here's a firm, a little tough at the open. Looks like it wanted to get going above the VWAP. Could not hold that. This is a great indication this thing does not want to stay on the long side of things, and it was just a beautiful short following the 20 and the 9 moving average all the way down to 12. Tough trade at this price level, but nevertheless, yesterday was a day that if you wanted to trade a firm was heavily in play. Disney, again, these streaming services just getting crushed. Disney is no different. Just dropping down here all the way down to 86. We'll see what it does in the next couple of days. But again, great play as well to the short side. Nvidia was tough yesterday. Although it sold off, you can see here how choppier compared to everything else that we've been looking at this chart was. So again, not the easiest trade. There was definitely better opportunities. Like, look at these weeks here. This is a tough area to try to interpret what the stock wants to do, what the price action wants to do. Then we start heading down to coin. Again, just didn't trade well at all. Actually should not have been on my list. Had a great pre-market activity, has some potential, but really didn't do anything great on here. This morning up 10% though, above 50 here with the CPI numbers helping a lot of these tickers. As you see, everything from yesterday heavy in the green this morning, and even our gappers list, our gap down list is shrinking as you can see here, shrinking nicely. This thing was down here, and everything is making their way up as this data is reacting positive. The market's reacting positive to the data. So that's what we had, guys. We had a really good list. Tons of stuff to look at there this morning. Our gappers list, I mean, it's something we're gonna have to wait on. It's gonna be one of these days where we've seen it plenty of times where you really kind of have to you can pick your favorite tickers today, and you can have an amazing list because that's the type of data, that movement that we're getting with the SPY right now. Look at Meta, look at Tesla, where's the Nvidia popping up? Let's look at our usual suspect, Apple. I mean, guys, take your top 5 tickers and you'll be doing okay today. AMD, nice $3 move there on AMD. So yeah, some good stuff here. This is what we'll do. Let's look at the gap down list, right? I think that's gonna be more important today because if you're not gapping up and you're not moving up this morning, something is terribly wrong. Like VREU, VERU, excuse me, VERU. Something's not working out for these guys here. They're down 64% this morning. What is this? I never
This
seen
is a
this.
drug manufacturer. They have a COVID-19 pill that has been I believe the FDA voted against it or something of that nature, some kind of negative action against their treatment.
Man, if you couldn't figure out that pill, that's no bueno. Norm, have you seen this STULOE on the montage? I've never seen that before. What is
What
this?
is
If I
it?
click on this, right up here, you see that?
I can't really make it out on your screen very well.
Yeah, it's S dot TUL 0 backwards 3. I mean, I don't know what's happening
I
there,
don't
but
get that. That's something funky. I just have
yeah.
T.S.
Okay, so this could be something on my machine there. Okay, interesting. Dude, that is weird. Let me try loading that ticker again. What is going on? I updated this thing too, so I shouldn't be doing that.
Maybe that's why you're getting it and I don't.
Oh, you haven't upgraded yet? Oh, you haven't updated?
No.
All right, yeah, because they put some new funky stuff in there. We need a translation on what that means. I know I got halted today on news. It looks like. All right, so that's VRU guys down 64%. Not a great thing for them this morning. Let's remove our tickers from yesterday, by the way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to think about this. Maybe a possible. I like the fact that it's something different than all the green we're going to have on the screen today. Let's see. Let's see what it does. A big drop, guys. This could start finding some kind of base here and move higher. One thing I don't like is this price range. This price range of $5 is not ideal. DWAC again, just coming back to reality here a little bit, heading down towards the levels that it's been trading at. This morning they're down on the 6.7. Guys, very, very risky stock. I think the fun on this might be over, and you could tell by the volume, right? The volume just has died down here, so it might just go back to the regular trading volume, which is not great. So be careful. We had a great trading day here, a second day as well, but then now you're just kind of starting to die down a little bit here. So
Yeah.
nothing to really see there unless more volume comes in. Mac was crazy yesterday. It was up. What was it? 220? Some insane number. 220%. Now they are down 3.4. Volume again is going to be important here, guys. There's barely any volume. We do have shares for short. Not many. 300,000 for a $12 ticker is not a lot. So that might be gone by the market open. But again, be careful. I don't see anything great on this one.
Not much volume for a low float to be trading.
Yeah, horrible volume for the type of float. Agree. 13 million shares float, by the way. PBR this morning, they are down 2.4, 718. Do they have any news? Because these guys, they barely move. Their daily hasn't been great, though. That's for sure. We'll put them on the
There's
list here.
some kind of a dividend payout problem and some other stuff going on with it, so I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. We'll put them on here, PBR, this morning as a possible. They got some good volume right now, down 2.5. We'll take a closer look at that in a second. And then there were some on our gap up list that were up pretty big. APAS, Hoodie's horrible. CPNG, let's look at those. These are up huge. They were up before the CPI numbers. And obviously now they can be up even higher with things running. So APPS, oh no, what is this? Looks like the news is just breaking out here.
It's been
No. It wasn't the gap.
Yeah, APPS has been up on the list for a while.
Yeah, so this was earnings last night. I'm gonna assume some kind of catalyst popped it up here last night. So they're moving on that,
Yes,
and now
you would be correct.
yeah, and now they're up a bit here, 30%. Not a great trader, guys. I think I remember seeing this ticker before on our list. Very light volume today. Obviously, they're looking to do something slightly different. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. APPS. We'll come back to that. Hoodie, HUDI. This thing. Every time I look at it, I just laugh. I mean, I don't know what the reaction to have. It's just a hilarious ticker to look at. But yeah, we're not touching that. This is insane what this thing has done. Let's go to CPNG. CPNG this morning, they are up 14%. Popped up pretty nice yesterday, and I'm concerned with the volume on this one. Pre-market action doesn't look great. You're getting one big move here based on the CPI data. Outside of that, I don't think this is a great trader, guys. I think today we're going to have a lot of fun with our usual suspects. Rivian,
Mhm.
Rivian might be
Hit
interesting.
earnings.
Rivian,
Yeah.
these guys might be interesting. I'm gonna put them as a possible. I haven't traded them in a while. They were hot for a minute, then it kind of cooled off. But Rivian might be a good one. Okay, I see XPF Neo. These guys also. Oh, look at Neo. That's not bad. 4.3.
Neo, I believe, had earnings. They did have
Yes,
earnings overnight.
I
Yeah.
remember Thursday. Yeah, today's Thursday. Yeah, so earnings either last night or whatever, today and this morning. But Neo 4.3 up 10%. I do like that. And I'm sure CPI data obviously helping that cost right there.
Mm.
So yeah, Neo is good. XBEV, you could pick your favorite one on here. I'm gonna pick Neo. That's the one I like this morning. And Rivian could be a possible one as well. I'm gonna stop here, guys, because this list, as you can see, becomes extremely long. I want to see what you guys have on your deck this morning, starting with you, Norm. What's on your list today?
I'm looking at usual suspects today,
Yeah.
especially the big name tech, mega tech stuff, because it's going to move well.
Yeah.
It should move well with this data.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Agree
already
on.
made a big move. I'm curious to see if these things drop at all, if we've put in the move, if it's going to pull back.
Mhm.
Because in reality, yes, inflation has come down. Good thing, great thing.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it's still insanely high, and the Fed's still going to have to act. So
Yeah. Yeah. And now you're starting to get the reaction, which is the layoffs, right? This is when you really start feeling things. People start losing their jobs, and that's no good. We're seeing a lot of companies report their layoffs. The latest one, Meta, right? Meta reporting their layoffs not so long ago. Um, they're up here 5.1. Meta could be interesting with this gap down that they had. So I do like Meta. I think we're gonna have these guys in play for a while. So I put Apple based on your big tech information there, Norman. I'm probably sure you're looking at Nvidia as well, which 1 million up
video would be
5.5. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's take it to the room, guys. See what we have this morning. Many of you pointing out Tesla, which I 100% agree. I think Tesla is going to be something to watch, not just today, for the coming days with everything going on there, and just this big sell-off we're having. So yeah, Tesla on deck. I think on a day like today, the volatility on this thing is going to be
Yeah,
wild.
mind your size
Yeah,
because it is going to be wild for sure.
it's going to be wild. So I actually want to watch it, but I don't see myself trading it over like an Apple or Nvidia. So I'm going to put it as a possible. It is definitely in play, but just be careful your share size here. Um, Apple is good. Tesla is good. What do we have over on our YouTube chat? UNH, is that's the United Health, I believe. Yes.
Healthcare, yeah. That usually
Yeah,
doesn't trade great.
they don't trade well, guys. They're really light on volume. Even with news, they're just not a great intraday trading stock. And a lot of these health companies are not, right? They don't trade day trade very well. So I won't be having this on my list today. Um, Tesla equals cha-ching. Yeah, Tesla's great. Tesla's great. Neo earnings is good. Our HUDI is not our friend. No, that is far from a friend. This is a guy that talks behind your back and wants to take your money. So no, you don't want that. AMD up $3. Oh, yes, AMD was up big here. AMD's range again continues to be very interesting, as you can see here. It's 63. Can it get above that 63? That seems to be a tough spot for AMD here. So I like AMD. I like AMD. They got great volume. Can we get above that there? Any other stocks on the gappers list that had earnings or news? I think that I think there's a ton. I believe when I saw the calendar, Neo, if I remember now for Thursday, was probably the most notable one that I would personally want to see, right? And so I have
Earnings were
Neo on there.
great, but I think their guidance was a little bit better than expected, and that's what's
Yeah,
giving it some extra.
extra pop today. So other than that, I didn't see any other earnings that I will wanted to keep an eye on. But yeah, look at this gappers list, guys. I mean, this is just madness. Right now we have Neo, Apple, Meta, Nvidia, and AMD. And to be honest, I'm really good with this list. Like, I'm happy with this list already, and the volatility we're going to get from the overall market today as we continue to push higher here. And we're holding. We're not coming back at the moment, at least. So we're holding that 385 and looking to go higher.
No,
So this is
we'll
this
see
is
how
really
it
good.
goes.
Yeah, this is really good. All right. let's take a look, guys. It's going to be an easy day. If you guys have questions as far as anything guys want to us to look at and answer, let us know. We're going to go to community events and announcement for the week. We'll come back and take care of some of your questions that you have, maybe some tickets you want to look at um, that are doing something different than what we're seeing right now, right? So let us know about that. Let's head over to our community events.
All right, every Monday night, onboarding technology with Carlos. That says 9 p.m. East. That needs to be fixed. It says 9. 8
Where?
p.m. Eastern.
No, 8 p.m.
On the header right there. No, go up right there. 8
No,
to
8
9.
to 9.
Okay,
8
I'm
to 9.
losing my mind. Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
8 p.m. Eastern. Carlos, check it out, especially newer traders. Then on Tuesdays, we have strategy. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. Next Tuesday will be Peter. A little time off for the Thanksgiving holiday. Then we'll continue on with Andrew on the 29th at 8 p.m. talking about coming to my trading room. Peter's going to be talking about how to create and maintain a trading journal next week. Psychology on Wednesdays. We've got a new speaker next Wednesday, the 16th. Kim Ann Curtin is going to be talking about the invisible threat to your trading account. And then when we return after Thanksgiving, Randy Howell talk about staying disciplined when taking losses. It's a great topic. Thursdays is for mentorship, 11 a.m. with John, 8 p.m. with Thor, man with the already best-selling book on Amazon. Check that out when you get a chance. TradingTerminal.com, our one-stop shop for financial news and information from earnings calendars, heat maps, scanners. Also, don't forget about the simulator that can be reached there or through stocktradingsimulator.com, our free web-based replay simulator. You can hone your trading skills 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'd like to try out the room, use the promo code PreMarket24. It'll get you a discount off the 1-week trial membership. That is, it bills you one time. It does not turn into anything else. It's $24 if you use that promo code, and you get 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. If you'd like to become an elite member, you can use the promo code READ50 for half off the elite annual and a free one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed.
All right. Thank you very much, Norm. Appreciate that. Taking a look here. Someone asked for the link of Thor's book. Let's get you that. We'll get to that in a second here.
Somebody will post it in a bit, yeah, I believe.
Abby will post it in a bit on both chats, so you have it. All right, guys. So here it is. Where we have Neo, Apple, Meta, Nvidia, and AMD. Very short list, all looking very good, all following the reaction to the CPI data that we're getting now. And there's some good possibles here, like VREU, which is down huge. Maybe they start closing this gap a little bit. We have PBR, which they're down here 2.2. We'll have to see how this plays out. I mean, volume is good, but it could be better. APPS, man, this is just brutal. So we're getting some really big moves here with very little volume. So that's not good. I'm going to remove it from our list, guys. It's just that type of volatility that you're getting there and how light it is on volume is not good. You could get stuck in a real bad situation or something like that. Yep, I did fix Tesla. Thank you, guys. CJ and Addy over on YouTube. Yeah, I had something else on there. I had a TLAS, which looks horrible. A-Firm, what else we have, guys? Rivian is good. I have my secondary list. What else you guys like this morning? You. Oh, Jennifer, I missed you. You put you on here. What does this sounds familiar? What is this? Unity Software. All right, so they had nothing going on today, right? Because they're pretty much quiet, but they're getting a pop now. How did you find this one on your list? How did you pick this one up? But here, it's on our gappers list as well, which is curious if you saw it somewhere else. But yeah, they're just moving with the overall CPI data right now. I don't think there's anything else that's different happening with Unity Software. There could be some news that I'm not aware of. Look at their daily, by the way. Man, this is rough. This is real bad. Nothing but red in the last 2 weeks looks like. So they're getting some kind of relief here as they're pushing higher. But yeah, it's just moving with the overall data, overall market, I believe, right? Is it? Maybe not. There seem to be had earnings last night. Okay, because they're ramping pretty aggressively here, and the market's not moving as that aggressive right now, but they're pushing. Could be interesting. Could be interesting if they're doing their own thing there. Baba with upcoming earnings. When is Baba's earnings? When do we have their earnings? Again, moving with the overall market right now, so not doing its own thing. So kind of going to keep an eye on what's happening here. Their daily has been a little choppy in here in the last couple of weeks as well. So you earnings last night, and what else we have? AZN. What do we have there? Positive guidance on you. So yeah, let's go back to you. If they have positive guidance, that's always a great one to make the stock move. I mean, this stock is moving pretty nice actually. Even though the market is up, this thing is moving well. I know I'm still gonna put them as a possible. You're saying, wait, you're probably asking is, you're telling me it's moving nice, but you're still gonna put it as a possible. I'm just looking at the history on this thing. The daily, the volume is not great. I don't think it's a great intraday trader. I mean, they're doing some great stuff right now, but we're gonna have a lot of things doing some pretty amazing stuff today with the way this volume is coming in on many of these tickers, right? A lot of them which have been beat down quite a bit. So any type of positive news like the one this morning is going to help them a lot. Amara not good. Coin popping up here, but Coin was so bad yesterday. I had him on the list. I had him on my chart. They were just so bad to trade. Well, I didn't trade it, but the intraday trade actually was horrible. Right? Just look at these wicks here. This was not fun at all. Then you got this drop out of nowhere, right, and then you're back to some choppiness. So again, that was just horrible trading by Coin yesterday. Don't give them credit for this. This is just all CPI data, of course. So I'm not gonna be interested in these guys. MULN. MULN. What is this? No. Tara, I'm not sure if you're new to the channel, but welcome either way. Yeah, we don't really focus on penny stocks, so this is more of a penny stock, obviously at 29 cents. They are a whole different animal, completely different animal than what we're used to trading. So I stay away from these. I feel like our strategies and my way of trading specifically does not do well with this, right? You got to have a specific strategy to trade these type of penny stocks. So Tesla might get 10 million shares traded before the open. It won't shock me, man. There's so much going on with Tesla. 7 million already, and we still got what, almost 40 minutes to go for the open. It definitely might do, especially with this happening here. Tesla's a good one, guys. Just again, be careful with the volatility you're going to get on this. You could have the right move, and the pullbacks can just wick you out of the position, right? So let's just be very mindful. Usually, you want to give yourself a little bit more room and take less shares. Shopify is one that can be very choppy at times. Their spread, sometimes it's concerning. I mean, 11 cents now is, it's not horrible, but it's not great. It's pre-market too. It's gonna get better at the market open, I will hope. But I noticed that for the most part, their spread, even when they were trading like at 100 and something, their spread always was not great. It's always seemed to be larger than what I would like for the price tag that it had. So even now, again, this spread is not great on it. So not a big fan, as you can tell, of trading this ticker. Also, the price action, if you look at the price action of Shopify and other tickers like I don't want to compare it to like a big tech because that's not fair, but just other tickers that are trading with the same volume, their movement is very, very choppy. Their order flow is not like fluid. It just doesn't flow, right? It's just kind of like, and that's not good for the way I trade. So it's very difficult to read the price action or something like that. So that's my issue with Shopify, guys. Most of the time, I don't add them to my list. Here's V. This is Visa. Tough trade. Visa and the banks are usually not great traders, especially this one. This one, it doesn't intraday trade very well. Extremely light volume, guys. Even on big moves like this one here, you're doing this move with 7 million. When I see a stock moving, this big based on their relative movement with that type of volume is usually concerning. And let's go ahead and take a look at yesterday's action. Right? It's just the volume is just not there. So it depends what kind of trader you are. If you don't mind sitting there and kind of dealing with the spread and being patient, that's okay. But I prefer things to move a little bit more aggressive than Visa does. Tesla, is it popping again? Is it going off? No, it's trying to hold there. All right, let's see what we have on Lee, Li. Look at Lee. Lee's starting to get going here. So Lee, I know Neo had earnings, right? They had a nice pop. Lee, I'm not sure if they had earnings or not. I don't think so. But let's take a look here. No, their earnings are on the 14th, but maybe sympathy move with Neo. could be, because they were up before the CPI numbers. They were up quite a bit here at 17.20, so they were up nicely already. So that could be something there. And I don't think it's all Chinese tickers. No, they're up slightly. Not a big pop on Chinese tickers this morning. If you see Bob, it was not a big pop until now with the CPI data. So what else we have, guys? So then we looked at those. Those are good. In our gappers list to the top, let me see if we have anything. Nothing else showing in our gap down list. Pretty steady right now with the 4 that were on here already. Six Flags making the list. Six Flags up 13%. Again, it's just no volume, but it's moving. It's up 13% right now, but nothing to see there for the most part. Excellent, guys. Again, we're gonna have a very interesting day. I like my list already, nice and tight here. We have Neo, Apple, Meta, Nvidia, and AMD. Secondary list is this Unity software could be interesting. I got a nice big move so far this morning. I might move Tesla up. We might have room for Tesla. Yeah. I just have to be extremely careful with Tesla this morning because they can be so aggressive. But Tesla is good. Rivian, I have Neo up there. VRU, the only one that's, well, I got 2 that are red on my list is VRU with a gap down of 60%. Their COVID pill didn't go so well, so that obviously is going to be something to talk about. Usually, what I see more often than not, I'm not saying this is going to happen, right? So be careful that when you have such a big gap down like this, you accounted for the drop already. Very rarely, especially at $5, do you see it go any lower, like 4 or 3, right? This is kind of like, boom, we're out, that's it. And then usually you start to see a little comeback here over to 7, 8, right? Usually, not all the time, but more often than not, I see that. So I'll be on the lookout for that. That's the only thing I would like to see on VRU is them starting to close this gap, right? They had a failure on one of their pills. It happens. You might have a move towards like 7 or 8 here at the market open. We'll have to see. And then PBR, PBR is not great. I'm going to remove them. They got the volume here. They're down 3%, but their pre-market action is really all over the place for the most part. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of it right now. So I'm going to remove this. No need to have that there. Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is one of our usual suspects. That's going to be a good one to watch as well. Amazon is going to be great. Actually, I'm glad you brought up Amazon because we've been looking at this range and this trading on Amazon. Today could be a good day to start sparking up some of this move towards a top here. Yeah, I like Amazon actually because out of all of these, right? For example, like AMD, yeah, AMD is popping up fine, but you've been stuck here for a while, right? You haven't been really moving anywhere. You look at Amazon though, Amazon has been dropping, just continuously here. So now you're getting a move up towards the top of this range. Can we break out of 92? Yeah, I actually like Amazon quite a bit. Thanks for bringing that one up. Amazon there, 4.3, up 6% right now and climbing very nicely. Roblox was great yesterday, guys. I didn't trade it, but man, this traded very, very well. Gap down, sold off, and today you're getting a bit of a pop here. I like what I have better than this on my list, though. This could be a great possible. I don't think I'm going to be going to the bench, though, today. I think our starting lineup is going to do very well this morning. These guys could probably going to just not they won't be needed to get pulled this morning the way things are going. So Tesla is good. FDA and asks VRU to conduct more extensive tests. Yeah, so that's not good. That means it failed or they did like something they saw. They need more data. That's not good, right? Because that means more money, more time before who knows when this goes back to the FDA desk. So that's not good. It's not completely horrible, but we might see something pop up here. Because again, you're down 61%. You're definitely overextended on this thing. It's not a great trader. We had a nice. It's funny. We're back down. We had a nice gap up in April. If we go back to April here, we had a nice gap up. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe the phase 1 approval. Maybe that was the phase 1 approval of this pill, right? And now they just gave it all back. Who knows? But yeah, see, if you notice too, if you look at the daily, and again, I don't want to get too much into this because I'm probably not even going to trade this thing. But if you look at the daily, you're back at your normal trading range before you had this gap up. So, you might be sticking around here for a while, or you might be seeing a push up on VRU. So if you like VRU, if this is your style, I'll be on the lookout for a possible pop there. Yeah, Tesla is ripping. It is ripping here. Why Elon should have waited to sell some more stuff after the CPI number. See if he would have got a pop. Probably would have got a better price there. Let's see. Unless he sold and he bought now. Can he buy right away? Can he buy at 170? Maybe he bought everything back at 175. Or trying to, at least, because you can't buy all those shares all at once, obviously. Roblox, that's good. CPI data. You got some energy stocks. Yeah, energy stocks should be moving today. They should be in play today. Oxy, again, pre-market for these tickers, Jeremiah's, they're not great. So you're not going to get a lot out of the pre-market activity. Like, look at Oxy. Even on a day like today, where many tickers, look at our gappers list. Everything is on here with tons of volume, right? And we'll look at Airbnb. I missed someone. We'll look at Airbnb next. With tons of volume here, Oxy's like, doesn't face us. We don't care. We're just here. And this is typically their pre-market activity. They just, nothing bothers these guys. But market open, they can have an amazing trading day, right? We've seen it plenty of times over and over again. So you really can go by this. You really kind of got to wait to see what happens at the market open. And I think a lot of them are like that, right? XOM, yeah, same thing. You look at the volume, 160. VP is another one, right? Same thing. It's just nothing's happening, right? Compared to everything else. So Thor's coming in with his list nice and early. A from Apple, AMD, Amazon, Tesla, SPY, and the Qs. And speaking of Thor, guys, make sure you take a look over. Follow Thor, first of all, on Twitter. Let me just get you the link right here, and then follow not follow him, but go get his book on Amazon. The ebook is out, and it's gonna be amazing. I know that for sure. I haven't read it yet, but it is gonna be a good one. I know, just based on the webinars, based on Thor's webinar. If you see the information that Thor packs into a webinar, by the way, and now he wrote a book, I mean, I can only imagine how much data, information, and stuff is going to be on this book, right? So looking forward to getting my teeth into that. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. So if you haven't ordered yours already, do so. It's out on a thing. Where's Thor? I got the actual Thor, like Thor the movie. No, I need Thor, the real Thor, the BBT Thor. There we go. So here's Thor. Follow him on Twitter, guys, at Thor Young, right? So follow him there, and then you can go down and see his book. His link is going to be there on Amazon, so you can pick that up. And you also got a nice video he put on here. Where's Thor? There he is. There it is. Check out this video. It's pretty cool. So yeah, guys, that's what we have so far. And going back to our watch list here, I think we're pretty much set for today. I think we are pretty much set. Yeah, paperback should be out soon, guys. I know a lot of people want the actual physical book. I want the actual physical book myself. But do I want to wait when we have the copy we can buy now, right? So it's a decision you have to make, or get both. Support the man. Get both. We put a lot of work into that. So here's NEO, guys. NEO up 10%, like that. Apple, everything's moving nicely. Yeah, everything's looking really good. What are the Qs doing? Let's take a look at the Qs. Yeah, looking good as well. It's gonna be a great day, guys. Ravzilla, Rivian has moved 50 cents since you asked if it will get above 32. Let me see. Look at that. Look at that. It's moving. Yeah, it's just I don't know. Listen, I have it on my possibles list. I think it can do something here. I think it can do something. Above 32 is nice. Got 33 coming up next. We did get above that slightly new pre-market high there. So yeah, we got some opportunities on Rivian, I think. And look at the shock factor here. This thing, yesterday opened up at 31, a small gap down, sold off to 27, and now we basically cover that, obviously, and more. Talk about timing. This is why swing trading is so. I mean, I wouldn't swing trade this, right? I think it's a Chinese ticker, and it's just not a great swing trade stock you want to be in overnight. But swing trading's got to be difficult, extremely difficult at this time. That's day trading is for me is the way to go right now. This market, it just has no overall direction. It's just insane. It can pivot so fast a different way. Roblox might be the kind of interesting with everything moving so high. Roblox didn't budge. Let's see. Yeah, it could again, same thing here, shock factor, right? This thing gapped down, sold off. Now we're up slightly here with the CPI data. It could be. It could be. It could be interesting, but I don't think it's gonna beat some of the stuff I have on my list here, right? But it could be a good possible. It could be a good possible. We just have to see how we're gonna get some continuation here. Amazon. Amazon is one of my favorites for today, guys. Hitting this level here on the daily. This is one I'm gonna keep a close eye on. 91. 9160 high of the pre-market right now, which is right by this area of resistance. So yeah, I like Amazon today quite a bit. Yeah, our starting lineup looks really good. Mao, yeah, yeah, it looks really, really good today. And again, it's made up of all our usual suspects, right? I mean, Apple and Meta. These are stocks that we trade all the time. Besides Meta, which has kind of got into the picture about a month ago, right? Neo for me has been in the picture for like about 2 months. This thing, I mean, it is just it trades so clean. I don't know what it is, but yesterday, same thing. Yesterday, you had a beautiful drop here. I feel like Neo, when it picks a direction, it just goes, right? It just goes. It doesn't, you may have a little thought process here, but once it picks a direction, it sticks with it, right? And we see that more often than not. And this is why you look at their daily, right? Opens up, slam down here. I mean, opens up here, slams up, or pops up. Same thing here. Sells down, it sells down the entire day. You're not getting a lot of these, right? Where it kind of back and forth, back and forth. You're not getting a lot of these type of indecision days. If you look at their opening and closing, they open up and they run. They open up and they run. You see a lot of that. So the same thing yesterday. That translates to a nice trending activity on Neo. So that's what so I've kind of been having a lot of fun with these guys. Um, so yeah, I like that very, very much. Everything that Thor has on his list, I have on mine except A firm. So let's take a look at that one. Uh, A firm it was in play yesterday. Nice pop up this morning after gapping down. So this is another one that can have some good opportunities. Look at the pop we're getting here on this too. So that could be a good one. That could be a good possible actually. We did trade very clean yesterday. So we'll put that on the list. 1 million shares traded right now, up 12%. Did I say anything about you? Yeah, I did. I have it on here. I know they had someone mentioned earnings last night, right? So they had earnings last night. Right in here this morning they're up 13%. So they're getting a nice little pop here today. They've been down quite a bit. So I don't know what the guidance was last night. I don't know how their earnings played out. But the CPI data maybe can boost it a little bit. And if they had great guidance, right, which I don't know if they did based on this thing here, that can fuel this thing, right? So 1.1 million shares traded right now, up 13.5. That's good. That's good. I have them here as a possible. But again, it's going to be tough to beat this list, guys, up here. So depending on your style and what you like, you can pick and choose what you want to have in your list. But I already have one too many, and these all look really good this morning. I love Neo like Thor loves CCL during the start of COVID. Yeah, Thor has CCL on his list all the time. But I'll tell you this much: I do love Neo. The last 2 months has been incredible. I think a lot of my ones and dones have been with Neo, right? Because they start off really good with a great opening range, 5 minute up or down, and you get that continuation, and we were partially very well on that. But I'll tell you this: we don't love these tickers, me or Thor, as much as Peter loves AMD. So that's true love, right? We're just kind of having some fun with them now, into it runs out, but we'll see what happens. But Peter's love for AMD is like it's insane. It's insane, good or bad, right? It's like a marriage through through bad and good times. They're sticking there. And speaking of Peter, there's his list, and guess who's on the list? AMD, Apple, Tesla, Neo, Six Flags, and Meta for Peter this morning. A couple of SPACs today I see there for Peter. I'm not going to bring the list over now, but I'll copy this over to our YouTube friends. And if you haven't done so over on YouTube, guys, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube there. Sitting at 117 likes with 387 of you souls on board. If we could hit that, it helps the channel a lot, guys. It helps the channel quite a bit. Helps us keep the doors open here, so we appreciate that. Carlos, what stock is possible 5-minute ORB today? All of them. They're all all of them. I mean, I will be looking for every single one of these to do a 5-minute ORB. The one thing today is if they get too extended, then you have a little problem there, right? And the volume is going to be insane at the market open. I'd rather actually have them chop a little bit those first 2-3 minutes than just all out go off on us and then we get too extended away from the VWAP. We don't want that. But yeah, all these have an opportunity for our 5-minute ORB. Norm, anything you seen that you like so far on
Just
your
the
list?
usual suspects, really.
Yeah,
Nothing that anybody else hadn't already pointed out.
yeah.
I'll probably do that. I'll keep my share size relatively small today compared to other days, just because of the volatility that we have is
That's the thing,
pretty
right?
big. You can get some big moves and don't have to take an excess risk on that.
Like we say, guys, make your money on the move, not on the number of shares you take, right? So you could take a small amount, a decent amount, and you can do very well today. I mean, look at AMD. AMD's moved $3, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot. Tesla's moved what, 175 to 190. I
yeah.
mean, you don't need to take 1,000 shares on that to do very well, you know. So, um, guys, I think we're pretty much set. Let's get our moderators to put their list out here, and then we'll read that out, and we'll be all good to go here. And speaking of the ORB, I see some questions on that. You know, we have an entire webinar in our education center with tons of examples, recent examples too, that I have taken on actual trades, good and bad, right? The ones that work out and don't work out. And you could take a look exactly at what we're looking at, and they happen every day. This ORB happens every single day. Brian coming in with his list: Amazon, Neo, Nvidia, Rivian, Tesla. Agree with Norm. Don't like trading into a big move.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Then Mike will be looking at Apple and Nvidia this morning. Rising
Speaking of
Devils.
Mike and
Mhm.
any and all of the Marines watching on YouTube or in the room, happy Marine Corps birthday, guys.
Ah, Marine Corps birthday. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you guys for your service.
Absolutely.
Everything is 5% extended from VWAP. Well, we'll see. It's gonna be crazy today. All right, good guys. Trying to see if I missed any questions. I'm reading through some of these. I'm waiting for my book, The Art of Saying No, No, No. That'd be a great title. No, 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 no. Oh man, it's a lot of work, guys. It's a lot of work getting a book out, and I give it, congratulations to Thor and and Brian and Andrew, these guys who have taken the time to put these books together. It's a lot of work. You guys don't see the back and forth that Thor and like Brian and Artie go through, but no, shout out to them on getting that done. So, are the markets open tomorrow? Yeah, markets are open
Yes.
tomorrow. Yep,
Yes.
we'll be here.
Tomorrow's Veterans Day. It's a
Yep.
holiday, but the markets are open.
Yep. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. I'm going to bring over our moderators list. We'll take a quick look at that. I'll give a couple of more seconds.
Jared makes a good point. The bond markets are not open tomorrow, which can make things a little funky.
Okay. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how the volume is going to be tomorrow, right? Because I know even though we're not open, a lot of people are going to be doing their thing, right? So we'll see about that. At least in the later parts of the day. We'll see in the morning. Morning should be fine, but we'll see in the later parts. And it's Friday too.
All the Marines will be hungover.
Yeah, there'll be no trading from the Marines tomorrow. At least I hope not. If they're hungover, that they're not trading. All right, guys, just to finalize this list here, we have Thor, Affirm, Apple, AMD, Amazon, Tesla, the Qs, and the SPY there. Peter reporting some IPOs for today. His list: AMD, Apple, Tesla. Secondary list: Neo, Six Flags, and Meta. Brian will be looking at Amazon, Neo, Nvidia, Rivian, Tesla, and Mike will be looking at Apple and Nvidia this morning. So there you have it, guys. It's going to be a very, very interesting day over on YouTube. Thank you so much for the likes. If we can get a few more, appreciate it very much. Our goal is 200, right? So if we get to 200, we're dancing over here of joy. My personal list is Neo, Apple, Meta this morning, Nvidia, which again, look at the move that we have had here, and now we're holding. Looks like we want to get towards the highs again. AMD is just taking off here. Tesla and Amazon, which Amazon, out of all of these, Amazon looks very interesting, guys. Look at this. That looks very
Yeah.
interesting to me. So really like that. One of my favorites on the list today. Guys, stay safe over on YouTube. We're going to continue here in our chat room. If you want to join us for 7 days, 7 days of complete full chat room from 7:30 to about 4:30 in the afternoon, you know, $24. Use pre-market 24. Come join us for 7 days. Join me and Mike on Mondays, going over the onboarding class, answering some of your questions. Just check it out. Doesn't hurt to see what we're all about, and then you could decide if there's something for you. Take care, guys, and trade safe.
Take care. Yep. Take care, guys. Trade safe.